everyone. So far we know how to register a prompt within the prompt registry, MLflow prompt registry, and we also know how to load those prompts for our consumption. And also, not just load, we can basically format those prompts, because essentially what we register in prompt registry is going to be a template, and then we can load those templates and use it within the LLM. Now, next thing is the way we evaluate models, we can also evaluate the prompt. So let's see how can we do that. So let me create a new file for this. And in this file, I'm going to keep all of this code. Let's keep this code. Okay, so we are going to be evaluating some prompts here. How can we do that? So let's go backwards. Let's first see the exact function from the MLflow that we use to start the evaluation process. So what happens is, when you run the evaluation process, a new run is created. When I say a new run is created, what it means is that run will be tied to one experiment. So similar to how we track a MLflow experiment, we can track a LLM based experiment. So let me start a experiment first of all. So I'll set a experiment. Maybe I'll say prompt evaluation. Prompt evaluation. So currently, if you see, let me go to the server, and if I refresh it, and if I go into the experiments, we have all sorts of experiment, but we don't have prompt evaluation experiment. So let's run this file, or maybe I'll comment most of this code, so that not this one, not this one also. So let's keep these things as they are. Python lecture 9.py. So after this, we will have experiment with the prompt evaluation does not exist, creating a new one. If you see this line. Now if I go inside here, you see prompt evaluation. Now within this prompt evaluation, so this MLflow view provides two different kinds of view. It can, so if I click on it, notice what happens. It will ask me what kind of experiment you are dealing with. You are dealing with machine learning based experiment or Gen AI based experiment. Since this is going to be a Gen AI based experiment, I'll confirm, because model based experiment, traditional machine learning based experiments are going to have different artifacts, different set of things than Gen AI based experiment. As we discussed earlier, in Gen AI based experiment, prompt is something similar to model. So it has different set of constructs than a machine learning based experiment. Let me confirm this. And if you see this view, and also to compare this, if you don't recall already, let me open a sklearn based experiment. This looks different, right? So this has runs, models, and our experiment, which is a Gen AI based experiment, will be looking like this. It will have traces, sessions, data sets, evaluation runs. Currently we don't have any evaluation run because we are going to create one. Okay, so after we do that, let's first of all look at the function that we use for the evaluation. So there is this function called evaluate. Now let's see what all things that we basically require to pass, because we are going to learn those in a backward like fashion. So first we see the evaluate function. So let's use the data. Okay, so we have data, we have scorers. Okay, and then we have predict function. Okay, so these three things would be required if you have to run the evaluation job. Now let's talk about the data first. What is a data? Now, similar to a traditional ML ops, if you have to evaluate that machine learning model, you need a data set, right? Similar to this, here also you would need a data. In the traditional machine learning, with your x and y's, you will also have to have the predicted value. That is how we can compute accuracy or F1 score, things like that. Here also we would need to have some sort of expected response. So this data will be a list, and this list will be essentially a list of, you can say, dictionaries, and each dictionary can have inputs Okay, and let's talk about what input can contain. It will have a expectations, because there are no. So basically expectations means what would be the right thing for this right answer for this kind of input. Okay, after expectation we can optionally have outputs as well, but since we are passing predict function, we are delegating this to the to the GenAI dot evaluate to basically call this function to generate output. So this list can contain as many test cases as you wish to basically include. In the inputs, you would like to have a key. Now, what sort of key should I have here? That depends. That depends on what sort of predict function that you will be having. So let's design the predict function first. What my predict function is going to do is, it is going to take a key. Okay, let's take a questions key, and this this particular this particular function is going to essentially return an output. Now what will be the output? Let's design that. Okay, so what we are going to do is, we will take this code. So essentially we will load the prompt first here. Okay, we will load the prompt first, and before even before even formatting the prompt, we will have to load the prompt, right? So from here I will load the second version of prompt. Okay, so I load the prompt, I format it, and I don't print it for now, and then I will call the OpenAI client API. Okay, so after I do that, let's see. After I do that, I basically assign the output. Output would be what? This, right? Okay. So now we have the predict function ready. Okay. So now I will write the predict function here. Okay. Now let's come back to the data. In the inputs, I want to specify that key which is used in the predict function. So I will use the question key here. And in the question, let's ask the question here. Let's say, what is the who invented maybe I don't know who invented telephone. Okay. Now in the expectation, I will write something like expected response would be. So let's see who invented, because I don't know who invented. I think somebody Berners-Lee. I don't know who invented telephone. Okay, Alexander Graham Bell. Okay, no, Alexander telephone. Okay, so I'll copy this and I'll write it here. Okay, so let's go with this first. Okay, so we have input, we have expectations, we have expected response. Now we can come here and we can write the data. Okay, so the only missing piece now is scorers. How can we basically create scorers? So this scorers would be a list of all the different type of scoring methodology that you would like to use to evaluate your answers. You can write custom scores, but for now what I'll do is I'll use the inbuilt MLflow's inbuilt correctness scorer. GenAI.scorer scorers dot correctness. Okay, so this is one scorer that it offers. Now this correctness scorer is a LLM based driven scorer. So let me pass it for now, and let's run this experiment. So now if I run it, what it will do is, it will, under this experiment prompt evaluation, it will create a run. Let's run this and make sure it is successful. So you see this, to disable. So currently you see this progress bar. So it is running some validation. So you see evaluation complete, metrics and evaluation results are logged. Let's go here and let's refresh it, we should be able to see this run. So if I click on it, we see this trace, and if I click on it, on the right I see some sort of correctness evaluation. We will look at what those things mean in the next video. I hope you are able to understand so far how to set up the evaluation with MLflow, but we will do a deep dive and look at other ways by which we can evaluate write these evaluations more in depth in next video. Thank you.